Into the CHGO Bears Podcast. This week rolling on, we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft, trying to learn more and more about presumptive number one overall pick Caleb Williams, and we're going to continue to dive into that on today's show. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Nicholas Moreano, Greg Braggs Jr., whole crew with you today on this Thursday, and we want to remind you to make sure you are following us on Twitter, hitting that like button. Please subscribe to the show. Send it off to a friend. We appreciate you helping us grow this show and this great CHGO brand. Busy month for CHGO with baseball starting, Hawks still going, Bulls still going, and, of course, the Bears getting closer and closer to the draft. And we have a big draft party that you've probably heard about by now. We'll tell you a little bit more about it later on in the show if you haven't, but you want to go to allchgo.com/events. Get your tickets now. We're going to be at Joe's on Wheat Street both Thursday and Friday, presented by Circus Sports and Casa Azul. Those tickets are flying off Thursday, almost sold out. So if you can't get in Thursday, come join us Friday. We're going to continue the party on Friday night of the draft as well. That's April 25th and April 26th. But we got a special show for you today because we have one of the guys who coached Caleb Williams in his so far outstanding football career, about to go to the next level in the NFL. But Danny Schaechter was the offensive coordinator at Gonzaga College High School in the D.C. area, not even in the area, in D.C. And now he's the OC at Libertyville, so he's a local guy just down the street from where I coach at Carman. And Danny's nice enough to join us on today's show to give us a little bit more insight on what it was like to coach Caleb Williams, especially as his offensive coordinator out there in D.C. Danny, thanks so much for jumping on today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Chicago, let's go.
So, look, you're a Bears fan, so you got to be pretty jacked about where this seems to be headed. But we want to pick your brain on just what it was like to coach him. So we'll just start there. In general, a talent like Caleb Williams, having him in high school, being his offensive coordinator, what was that like?
It was a really fun experience. Caleb was fun to coach, not just because he was talented, but because he was also a hard worker and a really good teammate. He would come to practice every single day, ready to go, bringing energy, bringing positivity. And then, couple big things for me was, number one, don't screw him up. He was really talented coming in, so just trying to teach him football and let his talent shine was a big part of it, and then also helping a young man become a better leader over time. It was a lot of fun coaching him, seeing him grow as a football player, but more so seeing him grow as a person, as a leader. Just a fantastic, talented young man to coach, but as great as his talent was, him as a person was just as good or even better.
So I want to start at the beginning because, look, Caleb was already a big-time name by the time he was in 7th, 8th grade. Got some good programs out there in the D.C. area. A lot of people know of DeMatha, for example. How did you guys end up with him deciding to come to Gonzaga?
So he was definitely one who was kind of slated to go to DeMatha. Everybody thought that that's exactly where he was going, but during the high school, they don't recruit, right? But they do. So during that recruiting process, we started talking and meeting with his family, and his family is very big on putting Caleb in the best position to succeed. And maybe even more so, the best position to grow, so that way he can he's got high aspirations, so they want him in that kind of position. And when it came to academics, Gonzaga is second to none, really. especially in that football conference. So in the WCAC, you have the big four schools of Gonzaga, DeMatha, Good Counsel, and St. John's. Bishop McNamara's in there, but they're okay. When it came to if you were to like draw a comparison, Gonzaga would be like the Northwestern, the Stanford, the Notre Dame, very academic while also very good athletic. Whereas those other schools are more like Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, where, I'm not saying their academics are bad because all those schools are good academically, but Gonzaga, the kids that we had to bring in and recruit had to be very high academically. And then it was just a challenge. It was a really big challenge to be a good student at Gonzaga, and his parents wanted him in that position. So that way, when he went to college, like the college academics were going to be even easier than what he was having to deal with at Gonzaga. Then the other side of it was also the football piece. One of the things that we tried to present to Caleb and his family was the fact that offensively, we were going to be a little bit more complex, that we were going to be more like a college offense compared to the other schools that he was considering. And, I'm not trying to bash the other places, but we would put up the film and say, like, this is what you would be doing at these other schools. Slant out, double slants, throwing bubbles, four verts, zone read option. Whereas here at Gonzaga, this is all the stuff that we were going to be having you do, and then the more that you learn, the more that we're going to keep growing with you. So that's kind of the pitch that we made, were between the academics and then football knowledge, IQ, and building that we were the best fit, and they chose that. I think they made the right choice.
So I'm putting myself in his shoes, and I can, because I am that talented too, Danny, and I just didn't have the same guidance that Caleb had, so that's why I'm sitting here with these guys. But the question, like, I'm wondering, how quick did he settle into, I've got to do all this academic football work? Because that would I would have been done right there. Let me pick another sport. Wait, I got to learn all these formations and words and what I don't just get to run out on the field and play. What was that process like?
He jumped right in, very, very hungry to learn the offense. So as coming into his freshman year, so starting in January as an 8th grader, he and I started meeting 2, 3, 4 times a week, so that way we could start getting the offense installed to him as soon as possible, because we just wanted him to be in a position when we entered that May, June time, when we're allowed to go to 7-on-7s and start doing a lot more football stuff and camps together. He was competing against 2 rising juniors who'd been in our program, who were very smart, knew our system. They were talented athletes. One of them went on to play lacrosse at Penn State, just kind of give you an idea of their athleticism. And we just wanted him to be in a position where he could compete, meaning he could go on the field, know the plays, and then from there, hey, let his talent speak. So he dove right in, learning the system, and we just kind of kept feeding it over time. And it's not like he just naturally got it right away. It took a lot of work for him, and that's something that I think a lot of people, they're not able to see, is how much work he's going to put in behind the scenes. He's going to work in the dark, where the lights and cameras aren't on him, so that way he can fulfill his expectations and his talent level. So we did a lot of work behind the scenes when it came to the football stuff, and that was installing the playbook, as well as starting to learn about high school level defenses, which are a little bit more complex than the youth league stuff that he was facing. So he loved learning football, and we did not give him his spot as a freshman. We went to several different 7-on-7 camps, and he had to earn it from being the 3rd string quarterback and just show everybody. We told him, leave no doubt that you are the man, and that's exactly what he did, where those first couple 7-on-7s, he did a lot of really great things, but the other quarterbacks were also doing some good stuff. But then I think it was like the Penn State 7-on-7 that we went to his freshman year, where you just started seeing like the separation, where, wow, he gets it, and now you're just seeing him play football a little bit faster, a little bit freer, and then that ball just jumps out of his hands in such a special way that he left no doubt. he was the man, and everybody at that point agreed like Caleb Williams should be the starting quarterback, and he clearly won that battle as a freshman going against some upperclassmen.
So, Danny, with you as the play caller and with the talent that Caleb Williams clearly had, as you were just talking about it, how creative could you get as a play caller knowing that you had a quarterback with that level of talent?
I could basically call whatever I wanted, and if I didn't do a good job of calling a play, there was always kind of the expectation that Caleb would save the day. We kind of had the saying that Superman always wears his cape, and that's exactly who Caleb was for us. So there's a great clip. It was his junior year it was DeMatha home game. Early in the game, we're backed up. I think it's his first play on his junior season highlight tape that's still on Huddle. If you want to check it out. And it was supposed to be like a naked play action rollout. And their defensive end goes straight up the field, so he has nowhere to roll to. And then he just kind of dances, spins, and next thing you know, he goes 90 yards for a touchdown. And I was like, hey, what a great play call right there. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And just, the other creative piece is like when he was a sophomore and we won our championship on a Hail Mary, he accounted for, 6 touchdowns, and, he had a few rushing, a few passing, and then he also had a receiving touchdown. So we were able to do whatever we wanted with him, basically, which made my life a lot of fun, and it was definitely a lot of fun to be a part of and watch.
Well, so you bring up the famous DeMatha game to win the WCAC. Some call it the greatest high school football game ever played. Winning it on a Hail Mary, 3 changes of lead in the final minute of the game. Tell us about your memories from that day, because it feels like that's when the Superman, moniker really came to fruition.
Yeah, so believe it or not, I actually had a full head of hair going into that game, and by the end of it, I looked like this. It was the most incredible football game I was ever part of. I mean, the highs and the lows of that game, the atmosphere, everything about it. I mean, starting off the game down 20-0, and then, it was just like we planned, right? Start off 20-0, and let's see what happens after that. No, we just made some adjustments, and, on the headsets, we were just like, hey, man, if we stay the course, we have to make some changes, but if we can do our thing, we're going to be fine. And Caleb made some incredible plays, but also his teammates were making incredible plays for him. I mean, the 3rd and 33 that we completed after he went down, he was slightly hurt, but Caleb knows the rule. He's not allowed to be hurt. He's got to get up and keep playing. That's what Superman does. And Sam Sweeney, makes an incredible catch on 3rd and 33. And then he's a guy who actually scored the go-ahead touchdown too. So he has guys making plays. You got John Marshall making the catch, the Hail Mary. Aaron Turner making some huge plays as a receiver. Dean Ingram, who is a defensive guy, making a huge 4th down reception to keep our hopes alive during that game. So it was after the fact. It's a lot of fun to look back at that game. Definitely the greatest game that I was lucky enough to be a part of. And the easiest play call in that game was the last one. Hail Mary, here we go. And then just, of course, it was Caleb's birthday. And it's just what a great story it was. And it was so cool that kind of helped catapult him to put him on the front lines of like, hey, this is one of the best players, if not the best player in the nation, playing in arguably the best game, and it was, like I said, a lot of fun after the fact to celebrate. But during the game, very, very stressful. Best part of Caleb was there was no point where he teetered. It was when we were down 20-0. It was like, hey man, we got to make something happen right here. This is a really important drive, coach. I got it. And then we'd always end with, hey man, stay on the beach. He said, got it. Let's go. And no matter what, we were down 20-0, or hey, we got to throw a Hail Mary. He was on the beach, staying like that the entire way, and made incredible plays to make it happen.
That sounds like a movie. Like this should be a movie just from this one game. Yep. Caleb's birthday, the Hail Mary, like it's insane.
As a sophomore too.
And I'm very impressed with Braggs' knowledge of DC football. That was next level.
I'm pretty sure Marshawn Lloyd was on the other side, right?
Oh, there are multiple NFL players on that DeMatha team. I believe you got Marshawn, who they ended up playing together at USC, which is cool.
Yep.
DeMarco Helms was in there. That's one of the guys in the Hail Mary that John Marshall caught it over. And then Nick Cross was another one. One of the other cornerbacks in that game, I can't remember his name. Was it Gordon? Who was just on that Michigan national championship team, and their worst DB in the bunch, started and played at Howard. So that DeMatha team was super talented, super good, so well coached. But Superman always wears his cape and saved the day.
Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd was at the combine telling me that Caleb still doesn't let him down for that story every day in the USC locker rooms.
Danny, I always got to bring this to the forefront here. We had a pre-show meeting, what we wanted to talk to you about. He offered absolutely nothing and said he was going to...
I put in the notes that I would just vomit
and then
my
he would
thoughts
vomit
to
something
him.
out. Like, I literally thought he was going to stand mute the whole interview, and then he just busted out some severe knowledge out of nowhere.
It's the greatest high school game ever played, Carm.
Well, I know what I'm doing the rest of the day. I'm going to go back and watch that.
Okay.
game.
Hey, really quick, shout out to First Amendment Sports. They were the ones who recorded it, and they're the announcers and stuff. That was also a big reason that it catapulted. And that Hail Mary was the number one play. It was ESPN Sunday, Sunday Night Football, and all that stuff. And we ended up being the number one play. It was so cool. Very special moment for me and those guys. And Caleb and his teammates.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll have to definitely check out those highlights. Danny, hang tight real quick. We got a lot more for you, but we do have to thank a couple sponsors here quickly, and we start with our friends at Circa, who will be partnering with us on our draft party coming up later this month. And Circa Sportsbook, of course, has tight money line splits, a low hold model, games that strive to be in a minus 110 split on the Circa Sports menu, unlike other sports books, which may use that minus 115 or minus 120. What does that all mean? Well, it means Circa's just taking less of your money as possible off the top, especially on large market bets, especially compared to those other sports books. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. They encourage you, download those other competing apps and check them out. You're going to see that the lines on Circa are better. Plus, they have outstanding customer service. All aspects of the app are run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. Again, that's Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. Sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537 or text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
Check out Circa Sports, and then you got to check out True Fan Travel, your passport to the world of sports. Over 8,000 fans traveled over 145 trips. Don't just watch the game. You have to live it. Travel to the most sought-after games worldwide, from football to baseball, basketball, soccer, and more. They have custom travel packages that include tickets, 4 to 5-star accommodations, and unique local experiences. Make it an unforgettable sports getaway. Also, you get exclusive meet and greets with former players. You could shake hands, snap photos, and share moments with legendary former players of your favorite sports. And there's also hassle-free travel planning by travel experts who make sure every detail is covered, from game day to excursions. And you can explore the wide selection of destinations featuring iconic sports cities and hidden gems where the spirit of the game comes alive. True Fan Travel is your trusted travel partner for professional sporting events around the world. There's a huge event coming up shortly, you guys. I cannot wait to tell you and unveil what we have planned with True Fan Travel, but you just got to keep your eyes open, and you got to just check out True Fan Travel, where you don't just watch the game, you live it.
All right, we are continuing our conversation with Danny Schaechter, who was Caleb Williams' offensive coordinator in high school and is now the OC at Libertyville High School here in the north suburbs of Chicago. Danny, I'm curious, as you watched the spotlight continue to grow on Caleb once he, certainly gets into college at Oklahoma, blows up there with that amazing game against Texas in the Red River rivalry. Then he transfers to USC. Now he's in LA. Spotlight's even greater. And this really seemed to get out of control this year, especially as they didn't have as much success as he did the year prior when he won the Heisman Trophy. So it's hard for the spotlight to be any bigger than it has been. What was it like for him in high school? Because I imagine even then he was the big man walking around campus all the time, whether he can control that or not. And I guess my question to you is just how do you handle that as a younger guy in high school? And what has been your observations as that criticism has sort of seemed to grow now that he's in a bigger spotlight at USC?
I always thought he handled it really well. He was mature when it came to handling the expectations that other people put on him, the spotlight, the accolades, and all that stuff. He always would try and put the focus back on his team and what he can do to serve his teammates. Did he like having spotlight on him? Sure, we all do. But I don't think he ever puts too much of care and concern on that. To me, he's always wanted to prove the people who are his supporters, the people he knows and loves, he wants to prove them right, as opposed to looking at naysayers and doubters. As much as he loves proving people wrong, proving people right is definitely where he's at. And he never cared. Like he didn't do the different camps and stuff like that because to be a 5-star, that like he didn't care if he was a 5-star. He knew he was the man. And so the idea of like a lion doesn't consider the opinions of antelopes, right? Like these people who are about highlights and headlines and stuff. That's not what he's chasing. He's got a bigger calling than that. He never, I don't think he ever put too much weight on it. Now, it doesn't mean he's blind to it or doesn't pay attention to it. Just kind of adds like a little bit of fuel to fire. But he never cared too much about all the accolades, and he'd rather see his teammates get the spotlight than that spotlight be put on him. He handles adversity well. That's always been my big thing dealing with Caleb, and something that I'm just trying to be a positive mentor and stuff like that of hey, like keep the main thing, focus on the controllables, stuff like that. That's stuff that I talked about with him as a high school kid, and that's stuff that I continue to talk to him about. And I think he does a really good job of that. I think it's a misnomer that he had a bad season. I think the USC team as a whole had a bad season, but if anybody with any football knowledge watches Caleb play and goes like, that's the only reason that team won the games that it really did. So I think the whole USC program had some rough spots. And did he play perfectly or as well as he wanted in spots? No. But did he have a bad season? I thought watching the games that he did some pretty outstanding and remarkable things. And I think the stats kind of bore it out a little bit too. I mean, just imagine trying to be the quarterback with an offensive line that's a little bit hurt and a defense that's giving up 40-plus points a game, and ask anybody how successful they're really going to be. Like, what's everybody's win-loss record going to be in that circumstance? And so I think he overcame a lot, and he didn't make any excuses or anything like that. He would probably put it on his shoulders and say, what can I do better to get these wins and to help my teammates out?
And Danny, I'm here for all the Caleb celebration. I'm putting out there that I think the goal for his first season should be to break Andrew Luck's rookie record for passing yards, which would put him at about 4,400, which, of course, the Bears haven't had a 4,000-yard thrower in the history of the franchise, which would be insane on a lot of levels. However, if we go the other side, like, what do you think's one thing that could potentially get in the way of him being successful?
Great question. Honestly, when it comes to him, he's a darn good football player. So the stuff that I think gets in the way of anybody who's really good and talented, especially a quarterback who's going to be drafted, first pick and all that stuff, it's really all the things around him. And I think all of us Bear fans feel really, really good about the offseason that we're having and how we're trying to set up whoever that quarterback is going to be. You feel like that person is in a position to be set up for success. Whereas like, hey, like Justin Fields, I think he's a really talented guy. And I think we could all say, kind of raise an eyebrow, like how well was Justin set up to have a successful career as a Chicago Bear? And I'm not going to lie, when we drafted Justin Fields, I was excited. I was kind of bummed because I was like, there's no way we'll ever be able to get Caleb, but here we are. I even bought, I bought my wife the Justin Fields jersey, which she's now super happy that maybe she'll wear a Caleb Williams jersey again. And shout out to my beautiful wife, Nicole. So I think it's more, any of those situations ends up being determined more about what's around, organizationally on and off the field for that person. If it comes to on the field stuff, it's not going to have anything to do with physical. The physical side for Caleb, he's off the charts. Arguably the best in the league, and he's not in the league yet. It's going to be all, hey, the mental and the preparation. And I think that his his desire, and his acumen of preparing and football IQ, that those aren't going to be things that hold him back at the end of the day. So, what's the organization, what's the team going to put around him?
So you don't worry that he's going to try to do too much on the field. You don't worry that he's not tall enough. You don't worry that if things go sideways, he won't be able to handle the amount of – because it's a tough spot he's running into. A ton of Bears fans love Justin. The organization did not support Justin, which you're teeing up. This guy, it can turn real fast in this town, as you're well aware.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns. It could be tough, no doubt about it. But I think he's built for it, and not just like built as in he was just placed on earth to do this. It's been over time. Think of all the ups and downs that he's had as a person, as a player. He's had those battle scars on the field where, it's not like he went undefeated as a high school quarterback. He took his lumps, and it breaks my heart to think about the last game that he and I had together his junior year, because senior year was taken away due to COVID. That was an ugly game his last game that we had. He think about going to college, and he wasn't the starting quarterback at Oklahoma right away. He had to beat out Spencer Rattler. A lot of people forget about that. He went through ups and downs at OU, and then Lincoln Riley leaving and all of that craziness, and then going to USC, which is the biggest media place in the U.S. He's taken his lumps. He's got the battle scars. He's dealt with all the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So I think all of that preparation helps him be built for this moment.
During this pre-draft process, there's been a lot of questions about Caleb Williams' character, how he is off the field, kind of his leadership. But you arguably know him better than a lot of those people that are posing those questions. What was he like off the field when he wasn't in a football helmet, maybe when he was just hanging out around with teammates? What was he like, and are there any notable memories that you have?
I have a ton of great memories of Caleb off the field. He's a great guy. He's a good person. I mean, go look up the Caleb Cares Foundation. Anti-bullying, right? Trying to send positive messages, and that peace, love, and motivation. That's what Caleb is all about. I think he's using his platform for good. Now I get he has some naysayers, that don't like that he does the fingernails and stuff like that, or they don't like how he shows emotions and stuff like that. And you know what? Fine, have those opinions. But those are people. It's easy to have an opinion when you don't know what you're talking about. So if you don't actually know the kid, then sure, you'll probably say some negative things about him, just like how we all kind of deal with that in our lives. But as far as memories out the field, one of the first ones that always pops out to me is, we had like this big barbecue before the season begins at Gonzaga, and it's like where is Caleb? Like, he's big man on campus. Like all the guys and parents all want to talk to him and love him up and stuff like that. And my guy's out there in the front yard just throwing the ball around with one of the little brothers of his teammates. And, it's not like he's doing it for the Instagram or because cameras are on. That's just the kind of guy he is. He's not too big for, hey, I'm going to go play with the little brother of one of my teammates. My family, like, we've been blessed with that, where my son's first catch from one person to another, this little tennis ball that we still have, was from Caleb to Zaid. And we still got that little tennis ball. And when it comes to his high school career, the one that jumps out to me was one of his teammates was going through like a really big personal struggle, and you could just see that teammate before practice was just not the same person. And I asked Caleb, I was like, hey, what's wrong with him? And he's like, you know what, I got it, coach. And he goes over, and for 15, 20 minutes, he's sitting there with his teammate, talking with him, loving him up. And that guy ends up coming up and having a much better attitude and a really, really good practice. And that was one of his close friends. But, that's who Caleb is. He cares about his teammates. He wants to lift them up. And just like the Gonzaga motto says, he's a man for others. He is a leader who's there to serve. And I know it's like I'm making him sound like he's the perfect person, and he's not. But I can tell you that as a young man who's stepping into the league, high quality, high character person, and I think that really stems from his upbringing with his family.
Danny, two more quick ones for you before we let you go. One has been mentioned in our live comments here many times. I think it's a good question because I always wondered the same thing, like how deep do these teams' investigations on these guys go? Had the Bears talked to you at all and just what it was like coaching them?
Surprisingly not. No, the Bears have not reached out to me at all. They might have reached out to Randy Trivers, who's the head coach at Gonzaga. I worked with Randy for a decade, so maybe they talked to him. I'm not sure, but no, they have not reached out to me in any way, shape, or form. Which, if they want to, I'm here to talk.
And then, of course, fair or not, the Carl Williams conversation in all this has been very big too. I'm just curious what your interactions with him were like. What was he like? As we all know as high school coaches, sometimes parents can be a little bit more part of the story than you want them to be. But what was it like as you're coaching Caleb? What was Carl's presence around the team, around you guys?
Yeah, Carl was always really, really supportive. And that was one of the things that I was like a little bit worried about dealing with. Coaching Caleb was like, what is his family going to be like? And like dealing with Carl in the recruiting process, I was like, all right, this, Carl is like really a part of this. But at the end of the day, after every single game, Carl would come up to me and like, hey, great game, Coach Shaq. Thank you so much for what you do. I'll still message Carl. I saw him at the Notre Dame game last year. He and his wife and Dina, and it was just, there's always like a lot of love and support. And I think as long as the people around Caleb like are going to work really hard and they're going to care about Caleb and do their best, that's all they can ask for out of their son, and that's how they can ask for out of anybody around him. So always really positive interactions with Carl, and all he wanted from me was me to work my hardest and do my best to help his son out. And I think that's a fair ask for any person or any coach, really. So nothing but positive things really to say about the Williams family.
How about that, Coach Shaq?
Love it.
You get to be called Coach Shaq. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's because my high school coaches couldn't say my last name as well as you guys did, so it just became Shaq.
It's not because you can dunk.
I can also do that, but that's not the only reason.
Yeah.
I can't duck. I can throw a backflip, but I can't duck.
It's called Schechter Greater Than Schefter. This was a wonderful dive for Schefter's never been on. I don't think he'd want to come on the show. You were better than him. We don't need him. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for this insight. It's been great. Appreciate your time today. And hey, I think maybe your wife can put that Caleb Williams jersey on in just I think 3 weeks from today. Actually, it's Thursday, right? 3 weeks from today.
Maybe we'll have some Caleb Williams merch to throw him. You never know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
13.
I know.
Some 13.
I know my beautiful wife Nicole, my amazing daughter Haley, and my son Zaid. They've been the biggest Caleb fans through and through. They've seen him through the whole process, and I can tell you that Caleb has treated my family, my parents, Mike and Andy, my in-laws Jim and Connie. He's always just been super super nice. And I know my family, we appreciate Caleb the person even more than Caleb the football player.
Give us your best guess. What number is he going to wear? 0, 1, 12, 13, or 18?
Well, 13 was always the go-to. He didn't wear it in high school because his teammate Hunter Stewart was wearing it, and Hunter was older, so Caleb respected that. So I don't know what'll happen with that. Maybe he'll go back to his high school number 18. That number did some pretty good things out on the field for us.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. All right, Danny, thanks so much, man. Talk soon.
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, there he is, Danny Schaechter, the offense coordinator at Libertyville High School, and was the OC at Gonzaga College High School. That always trips me up because I went to a college prep, so it's like college high school. I got to get used to that. Gonzaga College High School in D.C., and awesome insight there that we greatly, greatly appreciate.
Yep.
Danny's the man.
Danny is a man. Who also is a man is Empire. With Empire today, you can get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they're going to have some copycats, but they can't beat Empire in the quality, service, speed. So they advertise these low quality products that they simply won't carry, and they won't promise the lowest prices like Empire, because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that wouldn't put it in theirs. And of course, they keep shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. Empire's philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they leave out on the selection floor is as important as what they put in. They also have this virtual floor designer, which is awesome and a great way to see how these new floors will look in any space. It's easy. All you do is you snap a picture with your phone and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
That's right. And if you need more details, we're giving you all the details for our draft party coming up 3 weeks from today. It's the final countdown.
Carm just left the set, and then you start singing?
That was Carm singing. That wasn't me.
Someone has to.
3 weeks from today at Joe's on Weed Street, presented by Circus Sports and Casa as well. We're really excited to get out there. Going to be on the main stage at Joe's on Weed Street, the world-famous Chicago bar. Going to be a lot of fun. Breaking down the first round of the draft, see what they do at 9. We know what they're doing at 1. So it's going to be a night of celebration. Tickets are very limited for that first night, so get them while you can. After party with DJ Trey Tunes. And then Friday night, running it back, keeping the celebration rocking. Second and third round, have a chance to meet Gary Fensick, get an autograph, take a picture with him. He'll be in-house. We're going to be breaking down the second and third round, having some fun with the fans, see if the Bears can get back into the second round that day. And then Dalton, Carm, and the Sheriffs that night. So shout out to Collector's Cave for bringing Gary Fensick out. If you want to hit up their website, go to makesigningsfunagain.com for all your Chicago sports memorabilia needs. They got a lot of great signed, autographed memorabilia stuff that's at a very affordable price. So hit up their website. They're good people over there.
And, again, Thursday night tickets are running low, so go ahead and get those because Thursday night is definitely going to sell out.
Go to allchgo.com/events, and if you become a diehard, you can get a discount on that event, along with a free shirt right out the gate. Adam Hoge's newsletter, the Bears 100 Draft Guide if you become a diehard. So right now, become a diehard, come to our draft party, get drunk with me. We'll throw Carm in the river.
Real quick, we actually got a super chat on the draft right here from Phil Unin, $10. Hey guys, I watch your show religiously, and I'm an idiot for waiting so long. If there's any way we could get a table for Thursday night, that would be great. I put my name on the wait list.
There's a wait list
have
now.
we sold
Yeah, no,
out?
I think the tables are sold out because I tried to get one for myself and I couldn't. So I got
Not
one
even
Friday
Adam.
night.
Phil, hit me up. I'll kick some people out of there. If Braggs has a table, I'll get rid of that table and you can have it.
I better make sure because my 70-plus-year-old mother's coming. I don't know if she has a table. That's
Not gonna
okay.
have a
We'll
table.
figure it out.
Your mom's in better shape than you. Don't worry about Barb.
She's in better shape than you, who's almost dying through every ad break.
What's going on?
Yeah, Phil, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure there's anything we can do to create an extra table for you, but Friday there's a lot of tables still available. So my recommendation would be just grab one Friday. We're going to keep the party going Friday. It's
going to be a fun time.
And I'm excited about the country music. And I said this on yesterday's show. There's a better chance that we're going to be able to hang out longer on Friday night than Thursday night. So it's going to be fun both nights.
Corey Wooten will be there both nights.
Yeah, I would check out the tables for Friday if you can. And meanwhile,
I would hurry up on Friday, too, because that's going to sell out, too.
And the diehard, as far as diehards go, I got a little announcement on that, too.
You do? It's my territory. But go ahead.
Let me tell you something. There is 0% of that draft database that is your territory.
You said diehards.
The diehard,
which is only available to diehards.
But you said diehard.
You said diehards. I think new diehards. I think about myself. Now you can go back to you.
He does have his own role.
I
in
know
the
what you're
diehard.
talking about. That I said I had an announcement for our diehards.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got it now, Adam. You can do that. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, if our diehards would like to know, the database is expanding to 50 by tomorrow morning. It'll be all done for our top 50 of the Bears 100. Of course, we're getting up to 100 by draft week, so that's coming. But we've been at 20 now for a while. It's been very, very busy. We've been doing a lot of homework on all these guys. So by the end of, before I go to bed tonight, the 50 is going to be solidified. The order is going to be there, and that database is all available to diehards only. You got to be a diehard to access it. What is the database? Well, it's literally a behind-the-scenes look at how at our draft prep and how you can see our notes in there. Most of it's from Nick and myself, and then the order and all the info that we have back there, and it's an amazing resource draft weekend. That's literally when you watch us do those draft shows at our draft party, that's what we're going to be looking at. That's what we're going to be going off of. So it's an awesome resource, and it's all catered specifically to the Bears. So some of these other draft boards, they're for all teams.
Universal,
this one's exactly for the Bears, and that's available for you. So the top 50 coming out by tomorrow morning. And we made it easier for you to find, too, allchgo.com/Bears100. allchgo.com/Bears100. I know that question came up on the show the other day. It's now been asked. It's now been answered. It's nice and easy for you. Boom. Thank you for waving your hand in my face that entire time I was talking.
I was trying to get Steven's attention because I thought it was a perfect segue as you were doing all the things that are for the diehards. I do have something for the non-diehards who should become a diehard, but just entice you to become a diehard.
Okay. This is good.
Well, he sounds like he's about to die hard here. As he struggles to get through his sentences.
So I was thinking about what happened today. If we're going to go down my life course, I was fine today, and then somehow I got on the show and I sat down, and now things are moving around, and I think it's because I'm too close to you for too long of a period of time that my body is actually revolting.
So wait, but we were right next to each other at the meeting,
right?
But now we're further away.
Yeah.
But it's something about this setting, I think that has. Because I've been doing better.
Stanley.
I think by Monday I'm going to be good.
Like Stanley in The Office when he gets too close to Michael Scott, his blood pressure starts to rise.
Something like that is going on. I think
that could be it.
I mean, this is.
I could buy the idea that Braggs is killing you slowly.
I'm gonna be as far across the country as I possibly can be from you here in. You're gonna get better.
Well, and we'll see. Because I think on Monday, fingers crossed, everything's going to be perfect over here. I'm hoping. I doubt it too, but I'm hoping. All right. Can we do I just wanted to get to the neighbor stuff.
Yeah, we could do that.
So as we're doing
Neighbor,
our
I hardly know her.
his name is Malik Neighbors. He is a wide receiver. He very well may be a Bear. And so we're doing we did 5 things yesterday on one of the later round picks. Today, Malik's going to go early. Hopefully he'll be there at 9, at least as an option for the Bears. 5 things to know about him. Number 1, this guy's versatile, Hoge. Split time between the slot, 54% of his snaps as a junior, outside 46%. That's per our friends over at Giraffe Sharks, my new best friends. Number 2, this dude is LSU's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards. Now, he only played 3 seasons. Jamar Chase really only played 1 full season at LSU, but that's still, something.
Jefferson went there.
Yeah,
too?
I mean, exactly. You got some big-time names who have gone through LSU. He's their all-time leading receiver in both catches and yards.
Justin Jefferson
broke the record in the bowl game. Immediately sat out after that. Broke the record.
So
yeah, Hoge doesn't like that part. But so what Hoge does like, what you would like, what I like, he led FBS in big plays. This is a big playmaker. 20-plus yards. He had 34 of them last year. 17 over 30-plus. This dude gets down the field. Now, what you don't like or love as much, his contested catches chances last year, this is per Pro Football Focus PFF, 10 for 22, 46%. So jump ball types, high pointing it, not his thing.
Where does that rank, though?
I don't know where it ranks, but
I mean, I guess if we're going to call them 50-50 balls, you want them to be above 50, but
yeah.
46 isn't that far off 50.
The only thing that I read negatively that people were talking about is that
Okay.
he's that. So I don't think that, I'm not sure where that ranks, but it's not one of his strong points. Another one of his strong points, or at least something that I found interesting, that he plays Call of Duty with Caleb Williams. They developed a relationship. They started playing Call of Duty. He called him a brother. The whole thing. So there is some level of relationship. Whether that matters or not, probably not.
Well, I
but
think
it's
it matters a little, and I did think it was interesting. Like when you even at the combine, that relationship was evident. There was some shots of them walking around together. There was Caleb talking about Malik in his press conference, I think, at one point, or maybe some other interview he did. And then when we asked Roma Dunze if he had a relationship with Caleb, it was like, no, not really. He's a good player. So I don't think that matters. It's not like that'll be a problem, but it is a little like a small thing that's
Of
kind of nice
note.
that they have a relationship if the Bears end up with Malik Neighbors.
You know, playing Call of Duty too, if you're on the headset, you're communicating. Like, where's this guy at? Like, they already have that communication in the
Red
video
80,
game.
Red 80.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like that can go a long way.
that's a good
All right,
point.
calm down, nerds.
I like playing Call of Duty. I sucked at it,
There's
though.
Yeah,
probably not a video game in the world that I'm worse at, and I'm not even sure if I've ever played Call of Duty. All I know is I used to try to play Halo in college with my roommates,
so much
and I
fun.
would literally die before I even knew the game started. Like 3, 2, 1, you're dead. What happened? I didn't do
I had fun
anything.
playing though.
Run back
This
some
was fun.
GoldenEye, and I might.
GoldenEye was the one I
that was
could play.
fun. I like GoldenEye.
GoldenEye I can rock.
my only Call of Duty experience is when I was living with Nick Wright for a month when I got a radio job in Houston, and his son would play it till like 5 in the morning.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they
Good
He
times.
said, "Hell yeah."
Hell yeah. Get
mean-
some Mountain Dew, hot Cheeto, like
Code
chips.
Red
yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, whatever.
Did you do that? Did you play till 5 a.m.?
I was doing that with Halo, and I was kicking ass in Halo. and
Mountain
drinking Mountain
Dew, Cheetos, staying up till 5 a.m. playing video games.
How old were you?
This was high school, Nick.
This was last week.
No, high school Nick would do
No
that.
wonder
much.
you're at
How did you
Bears
get, how
Fit
did you
every
get through
day.
high school?
You have to make sacrifices. Like, I have to stay up and write this paper, or I can do this with Halo. Like, you have to make sacrifices.
I'm not gonna lie. We used to do that with Rock Band in college.
Rock.
So, like-
What'd you play on Rock Band? Were you the drummer, the guitarist?
Guitar,
Were you singing?
and that was the best, and nobody can top me.
That's amazing. Well, and maybe the Call of Duty thing doesn't matter, or maybe it does. Like last night, everybody's reporting that Caleb and the Bears had dinner at Sophia's.
Well, before we get there, read
conflicting.
the last thing from your thing
okay.
for the podcast listeners. I couldn't see it on the screen.
So for you podcast listeners, we love you. I did put a PS on my 5 things to know about Malik Neighbors.
This is a PS.
PS, arrested at Mardi Gras on Bourbon Street.
What a weird way to put it.
Yeah, PS.
Yes, he got arrested.
By the way, he got arrested on Bourbon Street for carrying a gun without a permit. The charges were dropped. We were speculating
Dropped. No harm,
were-
no foul.
We were speculating why they were dropped. I speculated it's because it happened after his sophomore year when he had 1,000 yards receiving, and they dropped the charges. But he apparently he was spotted with a gun in his pants. It was an L-shaped gun situation. They were like, "You have a permit for that thing that we can see popping out at you?" And he's like, "No, I don't." And they're like, "Okay, give me the gun, and we'll let it go."
You definitely shouldn't have been the one to report that. Just like
That, go
everything
read
you
up
just
on it.
said
That's
and
what it
the way
says.
you said it was
An L
that
shape
could have been a
in
weirder
your
way
pants.
of reporting a
thought it was-
charge on someone.
Well, that's what happened. It was they saw an L thick in his pants. You can go wherever your head goes. I'm thinking about the gun.
For real, right, Emma? Was that not the weirdest way to report a gun
I think
charge?
even Adam was kind of thinking something there too.
We were all.
He had a giant bulge in his pants. Like, what are we doing?
Read the.
Sir, what is that?
I will read.
What
you,
is that in there?
Let me read you
All
exactly
right,
how it
let's
was
hear
written.
it.
No, I'm good.
I don't know. I think we need to go down this
you don't
road
have it
now.
ready. I don't
I
need
feel
it.
like we need to go down this road.
No,
You have a concealed
man.
weapon down there.
it was an L-shaped thing in his pants. That's what it said.
It was a gun.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
L-shaped object.
Sir, that's not my gun.
All right. Let's talk about what Caleb had at dinner last night.
love
That's
that.
what I want to know. Or I guess that was 2 nights ago.
New
whatever.
Orleans police officers on foot patrol in the French Quarter about 7:30 p.m. Monday
Read
noticed
it
it.
so people can understand what you're saying.
New Orleans police officers on foot patrol in the French Quarter about 7:30 p.m. via ESPN.com Monday noticed a, quote, L-shaped object in neighbor's front pant pocket. police wrote in records filed in the Orleans Parish Criminal District Court.
Shout out to Carman. That's how they wrote it up in the police report.
That's how it was. Now, they did say it is pocket, but,
Maybe that's how the charges were dropped. Sir, that wasn't my gun. They went to court.
Taking hold that L to a whole new meaning.
Scaletta, that's a big L. That's funny.
This is L-shaped report.
That's a big tough L right there. Tough one.
Well, once again, congratulations to us for having the weirdest Malik Neighbors breakdown possible leading up to the draft.
Oh, we did it for the podcast listeners.
Yep.
We got you, buddy.
There you go.
There
All
it
right.
is.
Thank you.
Old L-Pat.
This show is so stupid. All right, so Kayla Williams you have the details on Kayla, because this is another Carm item. Carm is breaking down what Kayla was having at dinner the other night. They went to Sophia's. They went to Sophia's in Lake Forest.
That's right. There's 2 locations.
Are we sure?
One-
Because there was somebody else said somewhere else.
There's a pompous one in Lake Forest. There's a pompous one in Wilmette. They're both outstanding. Somebody invite me. I'd love to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is your segment, dude. Talk.
You. Okay.
So they would have been
Chill
there
out.
on Tuesday,
So
right?
I was looking at the menu. Thank you very much. And man, this is not surprising, but this is a good dinner. What jumped out at me is that they have on their house specialties Sophia's Reserve. You can get a Manhattan. I had the price wrong. Apparently I wasn't wearing my glasses. You can get an Old Forester Reserve Manhattan for $32. You can get an Old Fashioned for $38. And I'm sitting there like, is Caleb, if you're at a dinner with the Bears, do you drink?
That's
That's the Sophia's Reserve.
Yeah, so I'm Mr. Old Fashioned. That's a tequila Old Fashioned.
Oh.
That, if you read the fine print on that
Yeah,
menu,
okay, you're
that
right.
is a
It is.
tequila Old Fashioned. That is
like
not
tequila.
bourbon.
It's Nosotros Enejo Tequila Mezcal with agave nectar. Yes.
Oh, Carm. Yeah.
I'm looking at that Fort Sheridan Old Fashioned.
Yeah, that's 15.
That would be our bourbon and a lot cheaper.
Shout out for carrying one of our sponsors, Coors Light. You can
Hell
get
yeah.
one there. Beautiful 12 ounces. Thank you very much.
So they would have been there on a Tuesday? Would that have been right? Because they were.
so.
The special is the sea scallops.
The black truffle risotto.
I mean, that sounds. I would get that.
Now,
Now, Rap Sheet reported this is going to be his only visit. I mean, I would take more visits just for these nice meals.
you can get a.
I know you got to exchange, you got to do your physical and your medicals, but I'll take a steak and Old Fashioned in exchange
These
for
fine places, yeah.
Was this a nice enough meal though? Like, is Sophia's?
I think it was. There's a prime
been.
45-day age steak for 2 for $151. You can get a tomahawk ribeye. Do you think the Floos turned to him and said, "Caleb, want to split a steak? Me and you, tomahawk ribeye." Do you think that went down?
No.
Could be.
I don't.
Can you imagine if the Floos went, let's go dinner for 2, me and you?
Also, wasn't it reported he was with teammates, future teammates? Not necessarily with Poles and Floos?
Wasn't
don't
there
know
like
who
a
was there.
Tyreek Stevenson and somebody?
Matt?
I'm just the Floos had to
was
be
there?
there. Why can't,
Did he have to be there?
he did. He did. He's the Floos. You think the Floos is missing out on the Caleb dinner? That would be that would be completely unfortunate. By the way,
Thank you to Gary, who knows more about this than Carm, says Floos and Poles were at a different table, Carm.
that's upsetting. That's,
DJ Moore, Tyreek Stevenson, yeah. We're at the table with Caleb.
I think that makes sense to have the teammates at one table and
split
then
them up and have dinner with the teammates.
just see how we
Smart.
interact.
The Bears have now put him at table with his USC teammates to see how he interacts with them. Then they gave him the kids table at Sophia's to see how they interact with his
See if
future
it's similar,
teammates.
different. Yeah, I like that.
Do you think that we should call Brandon and ask him if like CHGO should have a dinner at Sophia's just to see what it was like so we can reenact it, take video,
For content, yeah.
put it on the Spano bill?
This sounds like a great.
This is a
plan.
good.
Don't you
this is a
think?
good idea.
Yeah,
He would be
this
into
should
that,
be a
wouldn't he?
show.
Yeah.
You can make that call,
You can
can't
eat
you?
steak.
Say it again.
Steven will get the
Call
tomahawk.
Brandon Spano.
I'm not splitting it either.
The Bears went to Sophia's super nice steakhouse in Lake Forest. Can CHGO Bears go there
This is
too
a
on
great
you?
idea.
Oh.
This is the best idea you've ever had.
This is, and then the same type of thing is going to happen, though, because Steven and I are going to sit at a different table while you guys sit at the
Damn
kids'
it.
table.
Brandon, we need
Talk
5
about
separate
serious
tables.
topics.
Yeah.
Actually, I can sit with Nick. I mean,
And we're going to place bets on how quickly you guys get kicked out of the restaurant.
I will be fine. Just
Nick would be fine.
I'll be fine.
Braggs,
But you need to supervise. That's the only reason why you're going to that table.
can we call them? Do we do?
You're the DJ Moore of the table.
Okay. That works.
Just so we know, it's this place looks very nice. I think the Bears did a good job, and there's lots of options. You could have a nice super green vegetable. You could have a spicy crab campale. You could have a ginger
Swordfish.
Yeah, you get a swordfish.
Swordfish is great.
I don't know if I've ever had swordfish.
You could get a wagyu beef capricoki.
What?
Wait, what is it? What is it?
Capriccio. Carpaccio. Seriously, does anybody know how to say that? Do you know how to say that? Carpaccio?
I think it's
Carpaccio.
carpaccio.
Carpaccio?
CH sound, yeah.
You are jumping in with that? Mr. Taco Bell?
Carpaccio. Yeah. It's a delicacy.
Can I get the number 4 with a carpaccio? For my cul-de-sac? Okay.
All right.
That's enough on Sophia's
Let's
steak.
get to the super chats.
That was fun.
But shout out to Gary. You mentioned Gary, getting the details on the restaurant. He did have the scoop on Caleb Williams being in town before anybody. Gary put it out there. I tweeted it out like 22 hours ago. I defy anyone to show me a report before Gary Ross.
Are you creating
That's our
a
guy.
Gary versus Sylvie rivalry?
Cronin, Rappaport, Greer,
Schefter.
Gary Ross was ahead of the. Get in your office, Lawrence. Go to your hole. I'm going. Going there.
Braggs versus Lawrence every day of the show at 12:52 is a new thing.
12:56.
All right,
Supers.
on that note, our first super chat here from Bell Money, $5. Give Gary his credit for dropping the Caleb Williams visit need yesterday. Also, Braggs, don't forget blue cheese on your
I
wings.
will
right.
forget blue crap on my wings. And yes, shout out to Gary.
Thank you, Bell Money. Appreciate you.
Patrick Tahawa.
Capacrico.
What? No.
You got this one.
That's-
Ho.
Yeah, no, Patrick Tahawa, right?
Yeah. yeah.
$10.
He's a super chatter all
Thank
the
you.
time.
Appreciate
I'm
it,
still
Patrick.
feeling bad about JF1 getting traded.
Get
but I'm-
over it.
No, you are allowed to feel that way, Patrick.
you're
Don't
not.
listen to.
There's a button there.
You are allowed.
But
You are allowed. Thank you. But I'm excited to see what the Bears can do this season. Bear down from Bemidji, Minnesota. Love you, Carm.
Bemidji's sweet.
Thank you, Patrick. I didn't know that was for me at the end there, and I feel all warm and fuzzy inside now.
Love you, Carm.
There's gotta be. We gotta set a
Because-
cutoff though. When you just gotta let the Justin Fields thing go at some point.
Yep. No,
I
so-
don't agree. Like, people loved Justin. They still love Justin.
gonna take some time.
I did see somebody.
He hasn't even been drafted yet. He hasn't played a game. You're allowed to speak.
Steven, I don't know if you highlighted it too, but somebody in the chat said they just became a diehard and dropped $150 on merch. So
Yeah, I got it right.
let's make sure we give a shout out to them.
Since we're
here.
talking about it, let's just do that one right now.
All right, cool. Chronic mixtapes, love it.
Wow.
Big fan of Chronic. Just became a diehard and accidentally dropped $150
Accidentally.
on merch. I know that feeling. You just start going down the well.
add to cart,
Before
add
you
to
know
cart,
it,
add
you
to cart,
know.
add to cart.
It's great.
Submit credit card information. Boom.
I mean,
Appreciate you.
There's a lot of good stuff on there. Bear Down Omaha, $2. Let Carm run the pre-show meetings.
excellent idea, Bear Down.
That would
Thank
require
you.
him to show up on time.
And pay
Oh, wait,
attention in the
wait,
meeting.
Hey, wait. Whoa.
Whoa.
He's always
whoa,
here. He's been here.
Whoa.
I will
I was
defend him.
late yesterday.
Oh, I
Informed
wasn't
you I
here.
was going to be late.
Yeah.
Today,
Excused.
I walked in the office today. The only person here, me. The only person that got here before our meeting was supposed to start today, Nick. The next person to show up, Hoge. This guy forgot his wallet, which he doesn't need, and had to go back home.
I was wondering that. Why'd you have to go back and get it?
Because I'm low on gas. Or else I wouldn't have got it, but I was literally.
You don't
low
have
on gas.
Apple Pay on your phone?
Well, I was going to
You
make
didn't-
one of you give me money, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just turn around.
Okay.
Plus, need my
You didn't answer
license.
the question.
Your
You don't have
license.
Apple.
You need your license.
Could get in an accident. It's raining out.
Yeah, you
You don't need your license.
Regardless,
People don't know how to drive.
You don't understand technology. We got
Carm's
it.
always late to the meetings. The only time he's not late, he makes sure to tell you on the shows. And then it's pointless for him to even be on time in the meetings because he doesn't pay attention in the meetings or bring anything of substance.
That might
to
be the
meetings.
most hypocritical thing that's ever been said in the history of humanity.
It was up there.
In the history of humanity. You stare at the floor and your phone, and you haven't had a thought in a meeting in 3 months. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just so upset about Purdue. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I'm upset. I don't know how to handle my life because they're playing on Saturday.
All right, we're not doing this right now. Andrew Peruganan, $20. Man, we got some. You guys are testing me today. One scenario that I don't think gets talked about enough are teams that would jump the Bears/Jets to 8 and snag Odunze. Maybe like the Saints, the Jaguars. Feel like Atlanta would be fine trading down and still taking their defender of choice.
Didn't we talk about that scenario?
Yeah, I brought that up. Was that yesterday?
Maybe 2 days ago when I was
It's
on.
possible, Andrew. It's always possible.
It's a deep wide receiver draft too, so I don't know if maybe they do want to move up for a wide
Totally
receiver.
depends on if the quarterbacks are still there or not, I guess.
Well, in Hoge's mock, you've got a receiver going too.
Yeah.
Later.
Michael Scaletta, $50 super chat. Appreciate it, Michael. Great interview with Danny. Props to CHGO for getting him on today. Can't wait for the season to start. Let's go. Bear down. Appreciate that, Michael.
152 days, I think it is, until the opener of the NFL season.
If anybody's jumping on here late, go back and check out the beginning of the show because we had Caleb's high school OC on today. It was a lot of fun. Carm, this is one of the diehards I think you have
So,
to.
yes, I mean, maybe our most elite diehard. He is the father of the show. He's the father of Adam Hoge. He is our Papa Hoge. He is not only somebody that respects the Chicago Bears, but also maybe one of the biggest White Sox fans you'll ever come across. Not maybe, is one of the greatest White Sox fans you'll ever come across. He's loyal. He knows how to handle rough waters. I've seen him up in Fox Lake. The man's dynamic. He's Papa Hoge.
Even the Benetti thing got him, though. Even he's not. He's
left on Benetti?
Yeah, the Benetti thing was it.
I got to tell you, the Schifrin is making an impact. He's Schiffing in. I think that's his new name. It's right. That's his name.
John Schifrin, yeah.
Josh Schifrin.
Do you have anything more than that?
I've enjoyed a couple of his highlights.
Okay.
He's pretty solid. I mean, not saying I don't miss Jason. Jason was incredible. I thought the Cubs should have poached Jason.
Keep him in the city.
They should have.
Although I got to tell you, the Boog is on another whole level this year. Boog's been screaming into the microphone in excitement too.
All right.
Everyone's just going nuts right now.
Love it.
Boog called out the crappy jerseys. That was cool.
All right. Yes, Hoge. Let me.
You got other ones, or should we keep going? Super?
No. We can talk about our diehards right now, but I do have to, just remind myself who they are for just a second.
Do you ever have anything pulled up on your computer?
Yeah, you just we wait till the end of the show to do that. You just Papa Hogged me out of nowhere.
Papa Hoge.
So this is not.
It's 103.
You're going to
103.
the Supers. All right, everybody's we're going to end the show strongly. And first of all, Corey, you were a diehard yesterday, and we didn't get to you, Corey. And I'd just like to personally apologize for everybody on the show, Corey, because you are
It's your thing.
Oh, wait. Earlier it was
Yeah.
your thing. Then you forgot to do it. Now it's our thing.
Yeah.
Corey.
Me guy.
Corey.
Me guy.
Yeah.
Me
Corey,
guy.
Corey, they're right. I will own it. And this is something that you do, Corey, as a great diehard. You don't point the finger, you point the thumb. And Corey is somebody that I have looked up to from the second he became a diehard yesterday until now. And Corey is a guy that I want to have Christmas with and Hanukkah and Festivus. Corey's the man. Welcome to the diehard. What about Jacob? One of the
about
first
Jacob?
I mean, when Adam and Eve got this whole thing going, they were looking around and they thought, you know what? Jacob could be the key. And Jacob is the key. Jacob being a diehard takes our diehards to the next level. Jacob, you're the man. Welcome to the diehard family. And, of course, our guy Brandon, leading us, partnering with leaders in this community like Kevin Warren. That's never been done before. He's not screaming about how we haven't beaten Green Bay. He's seeing the vision of a $17 billion stadium built right on the heads of all the park people who don't want the stadium built and getting it done. Brandon, you are the man. Don't worry about the park people. We'll have the columns. We'll have all the fields because of you, Brandon. Our latest, our newest diehard. Thank you, Brandon. And you, Papa Hoge.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, WSK.
K-Duck is about to come out of the office and end me.
I should have done it months ago. Is this whole $4.99 super chat here, WSK? Is this whole offseason draft process an example of the Bears finally getting it right? Just feels like past regimes would have overcomplicated it. I do think there's something very refreshing about a very obvious player being available to you and them just being like, yeah, and not being afraid to talk about it.
Yeah.
Pizzatola jumping in here said, I'm calling a ceasefire with Carm.
Oh, my God.
It's obviously affecting his health, and despite his ridiculous takes, it's not worth him dying over.
Come on, Philip, don't give
Thank
up.
you.
Don't give up, Greg. Keep it going.
Thank you, Pizzatola.
We're so close.
You're so close. The job is almost
You know
done.
what?
Finish him.
I was trying to figure out a reason to keep going, but now because Pizzatola is there for me, I will keep going for my Pizzatola. Thank you so much. I don't know what to do with this ceasefire. It feels I'm like a fish out of water right now.
Yeah.
But that's my new.
You and Braggs need to have a ceasefire.
He's my best friend. Pizzatola. No.
Matt G, $9.99. With the draft coming up, remember when Mark hurry up and end the show so I can go pee? Carman said, you're not going to get the number one pick because they're not going to be incentivized to lose.
Were these?
Hey, Matt G, and sweet avatar by you, it is the first time I've ever been wrong, I suppose, if you want to put it like that, although I just said that it was unlikely that somehow, some way, the Carolina Panthers would just be the worst team in football, and because they didn't have any incentive to lose, but they just were because they were that bad. So yes, I got that wrong. Good underlining.
And Armando jumping in here, $1.99, saying carne asada, Carm.
I am delicious, Armando.
Carne asada.
There you go. All right, last thing for me, because you brought this up earlier, but the White Sox, I've decided. Look, and I'm being very clear about this. This is not this is not me leaving the White Sox by any type of.
Don't hedge.
Doing this at the end of the show right now? This is a big deal right now.
Don't
I gotta
hedge.
sit back.
No. Because I've been saying this for months now. Actually, probably like a year. I have not made some grand, like, crazy brags, like, emotional decision. I'm not going to be a fan anymore. No, this has been a gradual thing that started from the very moment they hired Tony La Russa.
Slow drip.
And gave all of us the middle finger with that move. And then every little thing that they've done since then, including, and I gave them a chance. I took James to opening day last week, and it was not a good experience. In the ballpark, it was a mess. Concessions are a mess. It's like they're mailing everything in. This is a true story. They gave away a tote bag, a plastic tote bag. My 9-year-old son, 9-year-olds don't turn anything down, said, no, thank you. That was their giveaway on opening day.
The tote bag.
A piece of plastic crap that my 9-year-old didn't want. Mm-hmm. So this has been like just building and building and building, and it's not even me like being like I'm done. It's just I don't care anymore. I really don't. I don't have any. This is the first week I've ever been like, man, I don't have marquee on YouTube TV. How do I watch the Cubs? Like, seriously.
Are you becoming a Cub fan?
No, I'm not. The decision has been made. There's a different stadium that's a lot closer that should be, well, to where I live.
You're going to be a Brewers fan?
That was like the moment in Happy Gilmore where Adam Sandler just...
Yeah.
You're not proposing, are you?
Yeah, that's what it was.
This is terrible. I'm sorry I had to jump in. This is terrible. You're leaving the state?
I'm not leaving the state. I'm going to live right where I normally do.
Yeah.
On Saturday night, going to Miller Park.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'm excited. It's a great stadium. It's a
look
fun
like Craig
Kevin.
It's a fun team. And
You look like Craig
it's
Counsell.
a great fan experience. I've been there many times. It's going to be 40. It's in the 40s Saturday, so it's going to be a nice indoors roof on experience with a better baseball team.
They have strong old-fashioned
I
there.
love baseball, so if I'm going to put my money somewhere, it's either go hang out with Brags on Fridays or just drive north to Miller Park. I actually might do both. I might see you Friday.
You're going to come Friday?
I might.
With the hat on?
I won't wear a Brewer's hat if I come to the 120 Club
This
on Friday.
is one of the worst things you've ever done.
Why?
It's bad.
It's because it's way too close to the green and gold. You're leaving the state. You just
Look, first of all, there is actually much more. This is a deeper thing. If we're really going to get into it and not make this just a bit, which it kind of is right now.
I don't think it's a bit.
No, it's not a bit because when I went to Wisconsin, all my roommates were Brewer fans, and we would probably go to 4 or 5 games a year. We would drive over to Milwaukee, which is where my now wife went to school at UW Milwaukee, and we would go. Speaking of tailgating, no one cares about the parking in Soldier Field. Okay, well, go to a Brewer game. It's really fun to tailgate. Can't do that at Wrigley.
Hey,
You can go spend $38 on an old fashioned at the bar across the street at Wrigley, but you can't tailgate there, and it's a fun experience. So, honestly, now things have changed in baseball, but you didn't play. American League didn't really play the National League all that much. You would see the White Sox would see the Brewers every 3 or 4 years, whatever it was back then. So this was 20 years ago, literally 20 years ago, which is now I'm making myself realize I'm old. But we would go to Brewer games, and it was fun. So I kind of always adopted them as my National League team. So now I'm all in. Let's go.
can you name a Brewer?
No.
Do you know anyone on the Brewers other than Bob Uecker?
Bob Uecker. I was listening to Bob Uecker on my way home yesterday.
90-year-old Bob Uecker, 54th season.
Which is another reason, by the way. You can get 620 crystal clear in Chicago. I can listen to the Brewer games.
You can't get it crystal clear in Chicago. You can get it crystal clear in Vernon Hills.
I was on the Kennedy stuck in traffic listening to the Brewer game yesterday.
No one's ever done that.
You know, he used to play.
I did it yesterday.
You know, he used to play
You
for the
did not
Brewers.
listen to the Brewer game. Of all the options, you could re-listen to the CHGO Bears. You went Brewer game? Who are they playing?
The
Why would
Twins, who I hate
You went Brewer?
as a White Sox fan.
All right, we got to
And
work.
they blew a
It's
lead.
bad.
We got to work on your life. Brewers,
Tom's gonna kill
Twins,
it right
in the
now.
radio.
You know, one former Brewer, Glenn Braggs.
You related?
No.
Weird moment of the show right there, of a show of weird moments right now.
Obviously, Christian Yelich is a Brewer.
Loser.
Boom. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will say there were 3 random names that Uecker kept saying, and I was like, I'm 96% wrong. He's not even, or 97% sure he's not even getting this right. They have a lot of new players up there. It's confusing.
Baseball is.
They still got Brandon Woodruff, right?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Don't care.
Not a baseball.
All right, $5. Can we?
I thought you were going to support me on this one.
I'm not supporting you.
got a
I mean, I'll
song?
tell. I will say this. You want me to say something nice about your choices there, and something nice in Milwaukee, even though I don't really want to say anything nice in Milwaukee, even though I enjoy
Milwaukee's
Milwaukee.
a great town.
Yeah.
Milwaukee is a
Milwaukee's
great town, and Miller Park is sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Miller Park is sweet.
So
It
if you
is.
live in Lake County, Illinois, and you're in my situation,
White Sox
who
suck.
would you root for?
The White Sox, I wouldn't leave my team.
I'm not leaving them. I didn't say that. Look, the second Jerry sells that team, I'm back. I'm not. But I have no reason. I have no reason to sink my money into that team right now.
You're taking a sabbatical.
On Saturday, I'm going to the Brewer game. I'm taking my family up there because it's going to be more fun than we had last week. I like baseball. I want to go to games. I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give my money to the White Sox. Why would I do that? This is not some crazy
It's bad.
take.
It's bad.
Would Braggs, if you were a White Sox fan right now, would you give them your money?
No.
Okay, then why is this bad?
I just wouldn't do anything with my family. No, I'm kidding. Everyone's getting punished.
This is the guy who used to be an IU fan.
Yeah.
All right,
We got a song in the chat.
D-Tech Nation, come, chameleon. His takes can grow, or they can blow. Okay, there you go, D-Tech. That was a good
song.
That's good.
shout out to, what's his face?
D-Tech Nation?
No.
Read this one. Keep the show
Boy
going.
George, thank you very
We've
much.
got,
$10 from our guy Lachus.
Lachus.
Way to go, Hoge. Give up in the Sox and still sticking to the Cubs. I, for one, am done being a baseball fan until Reinsdorf no longer owns the White Sox.
That's the other option.
There.
Just give up.
And I will say, it is tough to. Carmen and I talk about this all the time. Baseball's kind of a rough sport right now.
What a sweet slider. I loved it. It was
I loved it.
that was great.
Was that your Steve Stone?
He painted the edge. It was amazing.
Old Man Gaming TV, 1975, $4.99 super chat. Here's $5. Hoge, you're dead to me. Friends don't let friends go to Wisconsin.
Wow. Well,
I
can't
mean,
please everybody, right?
Hoge loves Wisconsin.
It's not like I've ever put a cheese head on my head.
You have.
That was amazing.
Wait, what's wrong with liking cheese curds? I mean,
That was a bit that went too far, I will admit.
I enjoyed that
I
bit.
like the Brewers,
It was
and I don't understand why it's a problem.
I'm
I'm not a Cubs fan. I've never been a Cubs fan, and I don't intend to be one.
I'll say this. For somebody, a White Sox fan, I would think you going and rooting for the Brewers is a lot easier to digest than you rooting for the Cubs.
Thank you. Sox fans understand where I'm coming from.
try
right
being an A's fan.
now. And the second Jerry wants to sell the team, if I could, I'll spend a few dollars even to buy the smallest percentage of it possible myself.
As far as Milwaukee baseball experiences, I was 4 rows behind home plate when Brant Brown dropped the ball in left field.
That was bad.
And that was my first year of ever having press credentials. I went into the clubhouse in Milwaukee, and Ron Santo was in the manager's office with Jim Riggleman as Riggleman was telling him it was going to be okay. And and it was. Game 163, 2-0. Mark Grace catching the pop-up from Joe Carter. Gary Gaetti with the 2-run homer. And then the Cubs got swept by Rod Beck, and the Cubs got swept by the Atlanta Braves in a
I'm
pointless
sure going to
trip
miss
to the
you
playoffs.
guys.
Why?
I'm going to be gone this week for the next week.
When are you coming
Oh,
back?
that's right.
I probably won't be back on a show until Thursday. Wow. Maybe.
No, you don't get to do that. You
Unless I
by
have
the
a
end
per-
of today, you need to tell me exactly what days you're.
I
not
don't
coming.
know. I mean, if
This
there's
is a real
a
operation we're running.
Well,
here.
I mean, if there's a parade I have to attend, you guys are just going to have to wait for me.
Where are you going to go to a parade?
I don't
in
know.
West Lafayette.
I don't, I don't know. We'll see. Let's hope.
So when the Boilermakers lose on Monday to UConn, how long do you think it will take you to get over it and be normal on the show
Till
again?
Thursday.
Okay.
It'll
Just
be a
take
while
the week.
before I get over it.
Just
But I'm
take the
excited to go hang out with Matthew Gregory. He's been in the chat.
Matthew
all day.
Gregory was asking earlier if he buys a ticket to the draft party and comes up here, can he stay at your house?
Of course he can.
Don't do it, Matthew.
There's a better option than that.
Plenty of room in the
Stay with Carmen.
cul-de-sac.
You're going to make him sleep in the cul-de-sac?
Well, there's parking there, is what I'm saying.
That's going to do it for today's show. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the interview with Danny Schaechter, and we'll keep bringing the draft coverage for you. 3 weeks away, guys. We are 3 weeks away. Get those draft tickets Thursday. I also saw Matthew ask earlier. There are still tickets available Thursday night. I want to clarify that. The tables are sold out. The general admission tickets are still available Thursday, but they are going to go fast, so I would jump on that now because there's only, I think, like a few left. And then Friday, there's still tables. Come join us Friday. Friday's going to be fun. I'm excited about Friday. I'm excited about both nights. I'm excited about the draft just being here. We are at that point where the draft takes are wild, and Mike Francesa is actually asking the Jets to be shot, apparently, if they don't do
take
what
Joe
he wants.
Waltz.
So
Only-
that's how you know we need the draft
Only
to be here.
2 more Thursdays that we have to go through that aren't the NFL draft.
That's one way to think about it.
Or Thursdays.
2 more.
We'll
we
see
gotta
how
get
you
to.
are next Thursday.
Have
I'm
a
worried
good-
about it.
Have a great trip, Greg.
Thank you.
We'll be
I'm
rooting
so
for
excited.
you. Good. It's a moment in time. Get to go to the Final Four and root for your team. That's
It's going
amazing.
to be a lot of fun.
If any Sox fans want to hang out Saturday at Miller Park, I'll be there.
Are you really going to come tomorrow?
American Family Field, by the way, it's actually called now, which actually that part sucks.
Are you really going to come tomorrow to the 120 Friday 120 Club?
There's a chance.
I'll be there.
Because I might come pregame and then not stay for the game.
Let's do it. We're starting at Murphy's Bleachers.
What time do I need to be there?
Whenever, 8 a.m.
No chance.
Murphy's Bleachers to start. Left field bleachers. There it is. The Friday 120 Club. me and Cody Del Mendo, for 14 Fridays. Day baseball, nothing better than day baseball at Wrigley Field. Come on out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting here tomorrow at Wrigley.
And by the way, I don't have a problem with the Cubs. Never have. I just can't. My heart can't. That's not the team I can choose. It's not happening. Not happening. All right. Well, let's see. Tomorrow it's Carman.
Me and Nick and a guest to be named later.
I love you. We talked about this Monday. It's Thursday.
Don't worry.
120. Speaking of 120,
Al
it's
Harris.
120.
Hey, perfect timing.
24 hours from right now.
If you don't end the show, I'm going to start singing.
Gonna pee his pants.
We all silly like the mayor.